Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about getting piercings re-pierced after they either reject, fall out, close up. If you yourself have ever had a piercing that has either rejected, has fallen out, closes, whatever reason, and you're wondering if you can get it re-pierced, then welcome to this video, because I am going to be talking to you about that stuff right now. So let's get into it. So one thing that I do want to say is if your piercing is in fact rejecting, the one thing that I do want to say to you is if your piercing is either migrating or rejecting, it is best to take it out before it rips through the skin and let it close up completely, let it heal up completely before you want to consider getting it re-pierced. Because obviously if your piercing is rejecting and you don't take it out and it kind of falls out and rips through the skin, then you're going to run into a lot of problems and the healing process is just going to take even longer and it's going to be even more brutal. So piercings can reject for many different reasons, whether that be like your anatomy just isn't right for it, or it wasn't pierced in the correct spot, or you didn't have adequate jewelry in the piercing to begin with. So there are many different factors that kind of go into having a piercing reject. It is pretty common. It is more common with some people than with others. It really just kind of all depends on the person, and it all depends on the piercer and what their experience level is. If you do have a piercing reject, don't think too much of it, because it is pretty common when you are getting a foreign object shoved through a body part, such as a piercing. Then you kind of have to take into consideration that things like that can in fact happen. It is unfortunate, it does suck, but there are ways that you can go about possibly getting it re-pierced. So if you do have any of those instances, like rejection, migration, your piercing falls out, whatever, your next step after it fully and completely heals and closes over, your next step is to go see a certified licensed piercer and have them examine the area, have them look at it and tell you whether or not it would be a good idea to get it re-pierced or not. Because some people, like belly button piercings, not everyone on earth can get a belly button piercing. Some people just don't have the right anatomy for it. So it's always best to just have someone who has been doing this for a really long time and is certified and is licensed to be doing this. Another thing that they will probably look for is when they are looking at your area to see if you can get a piercing in fact re-pierced. They're going to make sure that your anatomy is right. They're going to make sure that your skin is strong enough to handle a new piercing, or they will actually look at the area on the body, and they will be able to tell you if the piercing can be pierced a little bit differently that will work better for you. So when you do get a piercing, there are three parts to the piercing. You have the entry, you have the exit, and then you have the piercing channel, which is where the jewelry is inside the body. And most of the time, the entry and the exit wounds tend to close up first, where that channel will pretty much stay open for a longer period of time. So if you do want to go get a piercing re-pierced and your piercer says it's okay, sometimes it can be fairly easy to re-pierce something that was already pierced before. And another thing that you kind of want to keep in mind is sometimes it can hurt a little bit more, just because when a piercing does heal over like that, scar tissue does in fact start to form, and sometimes when you get that re-pierced, sometimes it can be a little bit more painful going through that scar tissue. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. If you're like, wow, that hurt way more the second time around, there was probably scar tissue. Again, that kind of all depends on the person. Some people have said that it doesn't hurt at all, and other people said that it hurts like 10 times more. So it really just kind of all depends. The same thing goes with tattoos. If you're getting a cover up, or if you're getting a tattoo over an old existing tattoo, sometimes it can be a little bit more painful, and the tattoo can be a little bit more painful. For instance, my rib cover up was probably the world's most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life. So things like that go both ways for tattoos and piercings, but it all depends on the person and your pain level. So if in fact you can get a piercing completely re-pierced and your piercer says it's totally okay, after you do get the piercing, you may notice that the healing may be a little bit different. Sometimes the piercing will take longer to heal, sometimes it won't take as long to heal, or it might just be the exact same healing process that you had before. But the one thing that you need to do for sure is make sure that you take out the jewelry, let it heal, have your piercer look at it, and have them decide what is good for you. Another thing I want to stress to you guys is make sure that you are following all of your piercer's instructions. Take care of your piercing. Make sure that you are leaving the jewelry in that they give you for the appropriate amount of time. Don't do anything crazy. Don't get a belly button piercing and then go, stomach sledding down a hill. Like, just make sure that you're taking care of your body. Make sure you're taking care of your piercings, because if you yourself have had a rejected piercing in the past, you definitely don't want to go through the bullshit of having it reject again and possibly never being able to get it re-pierced. So, okay guys, and that is pretty much everything that I have for this video. Hopefully it was informative enough and hopefully it was helpful enough for any of you who are searching on the web on what to do about your piercing. Hopefully this was able to give you a little bit more information about it. If you guys did in fact enjoy this video, make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to go down and subscribe. I do upload on this channel every 3 to 4 days. If you're new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. Make sure you follow me on all of my social media links linked here and in the description box. I would greatly appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys very soon in my next video. I love you guys. Bye!